So the no iPhone place because communism bad, aka Venezuela, aka Vuvuzuela, if you are like Hassan Piker simp like I used to be, got bombed. And when I say got bombed, I say that in the passive voice. I should be saying that in the active voice. Donald Trump bombed Venezuela. There were casualties, I believe 40 confirmed. I've seen estimates up to 100. Civilians included. I believe there were some Cubans included in there. Pretty good stuff. Now, why is all this happening? I really don't know. I haven't been following like world or even domestic politics that well lately. I've been on this whole radical empathy shtick and debating and such, which is its own form of politics, but I don't keep up with politics as a career. I do have a day job, so it's just harder for me to like do the entertainment thing and keep up with politics if I'm not doing both at the exact same time. All that being said, what to know about Trump's plan on Venezuela? After U.S. forces abducted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, it is unclear what Washington has planned. Following the abduction of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro on Saturday, the United States President Donald Trump said Washington would run the Latin American country until a transition was complete. I thought we were against transition. But later, a day later, his top diplomat said the U.S. does not want to govern the country. Wait, how does that work? I'm going to pretend that makes sense. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Sunday that the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, while on the same day, Trump told reporters that he might order a second strike if Venezuela does not cooperate with the U.S. to clamp down on drug trafficking and open up its oil industry. Pretty on the nose there. I did watch a little bit of Vosh about this, just to, get a taste. Apparently, Donald Trump is very blatant right now about this being about oil. In fact, let's see if we can find a clip real quick. You'll have to forgive me. I'm kind of rough in this one, but like I said, I'm just trying to get back into the politics thing. We'll just get a taste.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So,
also, I just want to say he sounds horrible.
We don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and
he sounds like he's choking on like pine needles.
We have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious.
I swear his face is like melting. About.
We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over.
Oh, there's segments. Hold on. This is great. Here we go. Can I get like the full... What is the point? Okay, what is the point of like a full segment title like that if nowhere you can see the full segment title? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm a sassy bitch lately, but that's so annoying. YouTube is just not well put together. Well, the U.S. Well, what?
Earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her. And she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to.
Are you explaining the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate U.S. officials to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
That would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely running it anywhere in. People that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that we'll have a group of, and also...
I don't know where it is he says the thing about the oil, but he does. You can find it somewhere else. Anyway, he's pretty blatant about, like it says right here, he's pretty blatant about doing it for the oil. Let's go back to the article. The Department of Justice on Monday quietly dropped a claim that Cartel de los Soles, or I almost said Los Santos, Freudian slip, Cartel of the Suns, was an actual drug trafficking group. Last year, the U.S. designated it as a terrorist group. The Trump administration built its case against Maduro as asserting that he was its leader. Well, wait, is it real? I don't even know what this is. Known among Venezuelans. They put cartel in quotes. Is this fake? Is this fake news? Responsible... Okay, the U.S. State Department alleges they're responsible for extensive drug trafficking operations in the U.S. and Florida, U.S. and Europe. According to the think tank Insight Crime, the name Cartel de los Soles emerged in the 1990s when Venezuelan generals and senior officers who wore sun insignias on their epaulets, I don't know how to pronounce that, were investigated for drug trafficking and related crimes. Okay, so there were two guys with like sun insignias and now it's called the Sun Cartel. It's not a traditional vertically organized drug trafficking organization. It's a series of normally disconnected cells embedded within the Venezuelan military. Despite the allegations by President Donald Trump's administration, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has never described the Cartel de los Soles as a drug trafficking organization in its its annual National Drug Threat Assessment, nor has the World Drug Report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. So what? It's just like a couple of people inside of the military who like wear a sun insignia so that they know each other and can like distribute drugs. It's a crime to provide funds to the group. I mean, if it's a drug trafficking group, which it sounds like it's like a loosely connected group of cells that do drug trafficking. Okay, well, we got enough info about that. In December, the U.S. had accused Venezuela of trafficking fentanyl, dubbing it a weapon of mass destruction. That's so funny. It's just a drug, okay? It's a drug. Now, if they were dropping it, like, for free in the streets for anybody to just run out and pick up, then we'd have a problem. Then you could call that, like, chemical warfare. But this is just business, baby. Like, they're doing capitalism correct. Apparently, the Cartel de los Soles doesn't actually exist. It was just a name for people in the CIA that turn the other way when drug trafficking happens, but it's not an organization. Okay, so it's just like people inside of the military who are also happening to be drug trafficking. I mean, that happens in the U.S. military, I'm sure, right? We don't call them a drug cartel. In December, the U.S. had accused Venezuela of... I already read that. However, when the charges were announced against Maduro on Monday, fentanyl was not mentioned. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance out on Sunday still insisted that some fentanyl did originate in Venezuela. I mean, of course they don't have their message together. Analysts have pointed out confusing messages coming from the Trump administration regarding the aim behind the brazen operation and how to move forward. Experts have also questioned the legality of the operation that saw the reported killing of at least 40 people. The Trump administration insists Maduro's abduction was legal and that the Maduro government is not legitimate. What, like, legal or, like, what's this appeal to legality? Like, it's not like anything that Trump, like, you've already broken, you're a felon. I don't know, it's just funny. The felon appealing to the legality of what he's doing, as if that ever mattered. In the meantime, Maduro's deputy, Delcy Rodriguez, who was sworn in as Venezuela's interim president on Monday, had expressed eagerness to collaborate with the U.S., big surprise. I mean, it's amazing that the person who seems to have stepped in our captured enemy's place is just so willing to cooperate with us. It's crazy. At the moment, the question of who will govern Venezuela is hanging in the balance. There are some key differences in what Trump and Rubio have said. What has Rubio said? Rubio spoke to multiple news outlets on Sunday and Monday and also defended the U.S. actions and spelled out the reasoning behind the operation that had been condemned by the United Nations Security Council. Okay, so the United Nations is against this. In an interview with Kristen Welker of NBC's Meet the Press, Rubio said, "We are at war against drug trafficking organizations. That's not a war against Venezuela." Well, I mean, you did capture their leader. You captured the acting leader of Venezuela. That is an act of war. That's an act of war. Like, if any other country... Most people in the United States don't like Donald Trump. Most people don't. And I challenge anybody to, like, challenge me on that. Okay, to prove me wrong. Like, even knowing that, like, if another election were to take place tomorrow and Trump would probably lose to a ape, okay, then, like, even knowing that, capturing him as our acting president would still be an act of war. Like, say that North Korea did it. People would be shouting bloody murder. They'd want atom bombs immediately. Are you kidding me? Of course it's an act of war. Shut up. The seizure of drug boats, I thought they were just blowing them up. Referring to the dozens of strikes on vessels near the Venezuela, yes, strikes. Killed more than 100 people. That's extrajudicial murder, by the way. Like, they are just murdering people. It doesn't matter if they're drug traffickers. If I go out into the street and a drug trafficker offers me some crack, and then I shoot him, that makes me a murderer, okay? I may be a murderer of a crack dealer, okay? And maybe some people won't care as much, but I still murdered the guy. Like, he has not been tried in a court of law. And even if I were in favor of the death penalty, that's not my jurisdiction to dish that out. That's what the Trump administration did on these drug traffickers. He murdered them. Additionally, Rubio told NBC that the U.S. does not need Venezuelan oil and has plenty of its own. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States, he said, naming Russia, Iran, and China. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operations for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States. Simple as that. Nothing sus about that, okay? Nothing sus about that. Rubio told NBC's Welker that since 2014, about 8 million Venezuelans have fled the country, driven by the systematic theft and mismanagement of the country's oil wealth by Maduro and his inner circle. Instead of it being used to benefit the Venezuelan people, he said the migration was destabilizing the region. I mean, I don't know that much about Maduro. What I do know is that he's apparently not the best guy. But again, neither is Donald Trump, and I would still consider capturing him to be an act of warfare. Okay? Surely there's a way Trump can try to stop cartels without bombing people. Impossible. We must kill them all. What has Trump said? Rubio's recent statements differ from what Trump has said about Venezuela. While Rubio said the U.S. does not want to govern Venezuela and is not interested in its oil, Trump suggested different ideas a day earlier. Well, a lot can change in 24 hours, you know? Like, you give him a break. During a news conference on Saturday, Trump said the U.S. would run Venezuela until a safe, proper, and judicious transition could be carried out. Trump added that U.S. oil companies would fix Venezuela's broken infrastructure and start making money for the country. So yes, he basically admitted this was about oil. So what's the plan? Elvira Dominguez Redondo, a professor of international law at Kingston University in the United Kingdom, told Al Jazeera that there is no basis to comment on whether Washington has a coherent plan. From the outside, I could have told you that. From the outside, it is impossible to know what the next steps of the U.S. will be, particularly given the contradictory public statements coming from senior figures. She added, "What I can say, based on observable facts, is that there is no full-scale military invasion or formal assumption of governmental authority by the U.S. What appears to have occurred instead is the removal of Maduro while not allowing the rest of the governing apparatus to remain in place under conditions that are not publicly known. Whether and how this was negotiated is unclear." That's scary. Dominguez Redondo said the U.S. cannot legally invade and govern Venezuela since this would amount to occupation under international law. I mean, this is like Poland, right? Like in World War II. I'm not saying like it's being carried out the same way, but occupying a foreign nation is, like trying to roll. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. What's the latest political situation in Venezuela? Sworn in as the interim leader on Monday, Rodriguez, 56, told National Assembly, I come with pain over the kidnapping of 2 heroes who are being held hostage. I don't know about that. President Nicolas Maduro and First Lady Celia Flores. I swear to work tirelessly to guarantee the peace, spiritual, economic, and social tranquility of our people. A day earlier, she had offered to work with Trump and sought respectful relations and a conciliatory message. We invite the U.S. government to collaborate with us on an agenda of cooperation oriented towards shared development. See, like earlier I was trying to like kind of hint that she was a plant, which like she could be. I don't, probably not. I'm just conspiracy posting, but it is interesting that she is so gung-ho to work with the Trump admin. Community coexistence. Dog, they captured your president. There's no, like, that's not how this goes. I'm not wrong, right? Like, I'm not crazy. You can't just be like, oh, I want coexistence. Like, your president is in our jail cell. That's checkmate. President Donald Trump, our peoples and our region deserve peace and dialogue, not war. On Saturday, Rodriguez had appeared on state television alongside her brother, National Assembly Chief Jorge Rodriguez, Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello, and Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez, declaring that Maduro was still Venezuela's sole legitimate president. Okay, well, there you go. I think it's like a PR move to look reasonable and diplomatic. Yeah, maybe I'm just being too harsh. Like, it's not like you have much choice in the matter, except to say, like, please have mercy on our souls. I don't know if there's any evidence to indicate that she's a plant. I don't know if that's even like a real thing to consider. Trump boasts of abduction of Venezuela's Maduro amid global outcry. Why the U.S. is really taking control of Venezuela. That's very loud.
Continue to have the largest energy reserves in the world under the control of adversaries of the United States, under the control of illegitimate leaders. We're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be used as a base of operation for our nation's adversaries and competitors and rivals of the United States.
So they're basically, it sounds like they're just trying to claim the Western Hemisphere, like they'll leave Canada alone, but because Canada's white, so like as long as Canada plays nice. But like it just sounds to me like this is step 1 of trying to take over like South America. Is that crazy? That's not crazy, right? Like you start at Venezuela, which we've been meme posting about communism, like no iPhone in communist Venezuela. You start there, And then what? It doesn't stop there. That's scary shit. They're not even being like covert about like the reason they're doing it. It's crazy work. It's okay. Like, even if you were to say that like Nicolas Maduro, from what I read about him, the very little that I read about him, like he's not a good guy. He does shitty things in his government, but like he is their acting president. He is, you know, even if he's like a little demon, he's in charge of them. Trump is destabilizing that without any kind of plan. It's reckless at best. Reckless at best. Okay? And I think that even if you are a Trump person, you must recognize that. Like, this is insane. This just like happened out of nowhere. The UN was like, what the f? Like, we didn't agree on this. You're just doing this? Like, you didn't think to like coordinate with anybody about this? I guess my point is, like, this could have been, like, even if it would have been good to capture Maduro. I know he's not a good guy. Like, I don't know. Does anybody get what I'm trying to say? I feel like my brain's dying. It's been a rough couple of days. Kidnapping Putin? Yeah, exactly. Trump just wants to rule everything. Yeah, I'm terrified that he's going to go after all of South America. You know, and I have people relatively close to me who live there, who live in Venezuela, and also other parts of South America, you know? So, kind of scary. They don't think he can be reckless. They think he will always succeed, even when he fails his explicitly stated goals. Yeah, what happened to lower grocery prices? Are we still on that, or... Like, and also, like, none of this is to mention also like the whole Epstein thing. I guess like nothing's gonna come of that ever. I mean, it's been a whole year, right? Like, I don't know. It's rough out here. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs, or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.